So up y'all, it's me, it's your boy Asmongold, and today we're looking at how to get challenge mode gold in Stormstout Brewery. Now basically I have these markers down and they're for the last boss. Now I'll explain that when we get to the last boss. But basically, as soon as we start this, I'm going to pop heroism. Or not right as soon, but not even for the first boss. Now the reason for that is basically by the time we get to the first boss, we're already going to have, I don't know, like 10.5 minutes left, and so we're not going to be able to benefit from the heroism fully, and we need it for the last boss. And so we're probably going to pop heroism sometime around right now. And also right now you should have somebody popping the battle horn, and that's going to tag all of the mobs that are channeling onto these inflamed hosen, which is going to make them take like 50% of their health automatically. It's better if it's not a tank, and that way your tank can use it for the monkey room. Now, whenever you're running it here, you should have one range, stay behind, and blow up the barrels. And for one, that'll increase your mob count, and it'll also damage the monkeys that are chasing you. And this room is probably the hardest part of the instance, in my opinion. Basically, you have to kite around all of these monkeys. Now, we made this mistake a couple times, and we aggroed way too many monkeys than we needed to. You only need to kill 40 monkeys. You don't need to kill every single monkey that's in here. And so basically what you want to try and do is run barrels into the monkeys. But if you're running the barrels into the monkeys, make sure that you're not knocking the monkeys on top of the tank. And so pay attention to that. It's very important that you don't accidentally kill your tank, obviously. And other than that, keep them slowed and just kite them around in a big circle. It's really not that hard to do. And as soon as they all die, obviously the boss will spawn, but this can kind of take a while. We didn't really have that high AoE DPS. As you can see, I'm top AoE DPS, and so, I mean, that's like really pathetic. I don't really know why. I mean, usually, Destro Lock and Shaman would dominate. I don't really know why they didn't, but I think, something weird happening. But anyway, people say that Stormstout is the hardest. Challenge mode, I don't really think it is personally. I think that Mogashan Palace or Square Monastery is harder. But Stormstout has the highest DPS requirement, in my opinion. And basically, for Ukuk, we're tanking him here. And the reason for that is there's a lot of barrels that spawn nearby to him. As you can see, there's a lot of barrels rolling at him. And so I'm able to just get on a barrel and just roll it right into him. It's very important that everybody in your group is rolling barrels into them as often as they can, and you can also cast spells while you're rolling the barrel, and so you really don't lose hardly anything from rolling the barrel except for having to go walk over there and get it. And the barrel does damage to him, and on top of doing damage to him, it also makes him take more damage. And so he has 26 million health, and so it really does make a difference because this fight can last a really long time. And as I said before, this is a very high DPS check requirement or whatever. And so you definitely don't want to have, spending any time at all, that you don't have to. You want to be doing this as smoothly as possible. And as I said, it would be nice if you could have heroism for this. But in my opinion, I think it's very important to have heroism up for the entirety of the last boss fight. Because basically the last boss is a soft enrage with the ads that channel the heal onto him. And I'll explain that again whenever we get up to him. As soon as you kill the first boss, you can come up here, and there are 3 ads you need to watch out for. There's the hoppers, and the hoppers are the ones that explode, the boppers are the ones with the hammers, and the hoplings are just the little ones. Now up here is something that is very important. There are 2 boppers in this next room that are just sitting around, and I'm going to move ahead early here and mark them so we can tell which ones they are. And basically, whenever you kill those 2 boppers, that will start Hop Talus. And so at this point you should be focusing on basically 2 things, killing the boppers and not getting hit by the bombs. Now getting hit by the bomb is like literally never okay. Like there's never an excuse like a time when, oh, I got hit by the bomb and it's okay. It's never okay. It's always stupid. And so if it happens, you made a mistake and you need to be paying attention to that. It's good that the group moves together as a group, because that way people won't be walking, and basically whenever you run near a hopper, it will start the cast for the explosion, and so if everybody's running at the same time, they'll all be past it and it won't be a big deal. Now obviously that's not always the way it's going to turn out, but in a perfect world that's what you're going for. Now Hop Talus is kind of difficult to deal with, especially with all the ads. Now basically the full wind here targets a random player, and basically he just goes after them and with a whirlwind. Now you can actually melee hop Talus while he's doing full wind, and you won't actually get hit, but it's kind of hard to finesse it. It's the same as like City of Tolvir, the what was it? It's the Gator boss, like the human counterpart to that. Whenever the ads come out, basically he's gonna spawn, or he's gonna cast Carrot Breath, which is just it's like just one of those attacks where basically he spins around very slowly, and if he hits you with it, it does like 100k damage. It will not really kill you, but it will do a lot of damage. And he'll have Vermin come down. Now it's important you kill enough boppers to where you have the hammers ready to knock the hoppers, which again are the exploding ones, up in the air. Because if the hoppers are knocked in the air, they will immediately explode and do no damage. And so it's very important that you handle that. It's good if you can do this in one ad phase. We didn't really have the DPS for that, so we had to handle 2 ad phases. And also, again, the hoplings. If you hit the hoplings with the hammers, as you can see, the hammers are the that's my extra action button, and there's also little arrows. Whenever you kill a bopper, 1 hammer drops, and so you want to make sure that you're using those. And also, you can knock the boppers up to also lower damage, but knocking the boppers up won't really kill them or do anything. It'll just lower their damage. But anyway, if you knock the hoplings up, the little baby ones, it'll just kill them. And so it is kind of a good way to keep things under control. So as soon as you start killing a few boppers, the rest of them will be a lot easier to deal with, which is another reason why it's a very good idea to focus down 1 or 2 boppers just so you can kind of control this gauntlet. As soon as he dies, you have to run down here and basically you have to kill this ad here. There aren't really any places where you can skip mobs except for the room that's coming up here. Other than that, there's no real reason for you to skip mobs, in my opinion. And the mobs up here in this next room are the only mobs that are really worth skipping either. These mobs here, basically they cast 2 abilities. They cast Bloat, basically that knocks you back if you get near somebody, and with the debuff, and also Brewbolt. Brewbolt can be interrupted. It's not like lethal damage, but it's kind of important. Now here, you want to walk around these skunky elementals, and kind of wait for them to be padding around and just walk right on through here. Now, I did a Shroud of Concealment just to be safe, but you really don't need it. A lot of times you can just wait for them to walk by. But if they're walking kind of towards you, you can obviously go in stealth and distract them and then shroud your group around just to kind of save the important time. As soon as you go all the way up here, the first thing you want to be doing is going into this room where the last boss is, and starting the event so you can get the other 2 ads up and start AoEing them down. Now, you're going to have 4 ads up here, and this is going to be a pretty high damage phase. And you have to also remember that the Sudsy Elementals put this that carbonation on the ground, which is very deadly for melee. And so you want to make sure that you're not anywhere near on top of that. It will do kind of a pretty good amount of damage to you, and also it'll sap the healer's mana. And as I said, this is a very healing intensive part of the fight, this pull here. As soon as you can see there, I took a little bit of damage there, about like 80k. And so you obviously don't want to get hit by those. It's also important that the brew elementals die after the skunky elementals, so you don't have the skunky elementals whenever you're going into the transition. Now, the transition can be handled one of 2 ways, and I'm going to be handling it through the pillar strategy. And basically, we're all going to be standing behind a pillar, and they're all going to spawn. Now, if everybody stands on one side of the curvature of the pillar, they will all come towards that one side. Now, I don't really know why our group didn't do that. I think it was just bad coordination. But basically, you get behind this pillar either way, and you aggro them, and then they're going to come over on top of you. Now, here, you're kind of at a... it's kind of a, I don't know, like a race here, because basically they don't cast their heal for about 10 seconds or about 5 seconds. And so you pop all of your big cooldowns here and you just burn them the fuck down, and hopefully you can kill enough of them to where you can control the heals. Now, the way that you handle the heals, for anybody that doesn't know, is that basically if you stand in between a line, they channel a line to another mob, like one mob channels the line to another mob. And if you stand in between the line and the mob, it will heal you instead of the mob, and also obviously prevent the mob from being healed. And so that was a pretty good, like, we handled that pretty well. And so as soon as you kill that pack, you just move back out here, and there's going to be a pack of 5, or sorry, 4. So that's the elementals. And there is time to amber or drink or whatever. As you can see here, our healer had plenty of time, and it wasn't even a big deal. Basically, like as I was going to say, for the last boss, you need to position yourself in the 4 corners of the room. As you can see, like if you go back to the beginning of the video, basically I had one person positioned at each 4 corners of the room, and you want to be moved up very close to the boss to where you can, because he's going to spawn those ads that heal him, and they heal a percentage of health. And so if you let an ad start healing him, you're probably going to wipe. And just basically because then more ads will spawn healing them, and really you can only block 2 ads at a time. And you need 4 people blocking ads. Usually it's best to have everybody except for the healer blocking an ad. And the healer won't really have to do a lot of work in this fight, or for the last boss, because you're going to be receiving the healing beam, and that the ads are going to be trying to channel onto the boss, but because you're going to be intercepting it, you're going to be getting that healing beam. And so we're basically positioning ourselves at all 4 corners of this little box here, and that's where the ads are going to spawn. And you want to make sure that, again, you're very close to the boss, like about where I am now. And that's going to allow me to be intercepting 2 beams at the same time. And whenever the boss pops, you want to pop all of your DPS cooldowns. Just go big fucking dick right into him. I mean, just stomp the shit out of him. Honestly, we tore this motherfucker up. Like, I wasn't even expecting it to happen that fast, but it did. Whenever he sends in the lines, the brew lines that will stun you, don't jump. Don't jump, because sometimes whenever you jump, the heals will go onto the boss, and it's more important that the heals don't go onto the boss than you taking the stun. As you can see here, there's a second elemental, and that my positioning is going to allow me to absorb both beams that he's going to be channeling. Actually, I think he's going to die before it even happens. Yeah, as you can see, the elemental was channeling, or was absorbing it, but even if he wasn't, I would have been able to absorb it. And so position yourself to where you can absorb 2 elemental beams at the same time. And again, don't jump for the, what's it called? The line. And if you're a Death Knight, do not use Icebound Fortitude, because it'll hit you like a dozen times and kill you. But honestly, that's pretty much it for this one. So it's kind of a DPS check, but other than that, it's pretty easy. So thanks for watching, and like, comment, subscribe.